I tried doing a good thing, which is already where the mistake started, because anytime I think, this is nice of me, the universe hears that and goes, oh, you think you're nice? I was just standing there, minding my own business, feeling pretty good about myself, which I don't do often, and that should have been a warning sign. I saw a simple situation that looked like it needed help, and my brain immediately went, you can handle this. Basically a hero, even though every past experience I have suggests I am not. So I step in with confidence, which is not something I have earned. And I say the words you should never say out loud. Don't worry, I got this. The second you say that, you're no longer helping. You're about to become a story someone tells later about how everything went wrong. I didn't know that at the time. I thought I was being efficient. I thought I was being responsible. But really, I was just volunteering to make things worse in a very organized way. Here's the problem with me trying to do something good. I don't understand all the steps. I just see the beginning and the ending and assume the middle will figure itself out. I'm like, how hard could this be? Which historically is something only confused people say. Smart people don't ask that. Smart people quietly back away. I lean forward. Now suddenly people are looking at me like I'm in charge, which is terrifying because I'm absolutely not in charge of my own life. I can't even decide what I want for dinner without needing 5 minutes and emotional support. But now I'm responsible for a situation. That's too much power. That's how accidents happen. And I'm trying to stay calm, pretending I know what I'm doing, even though inside I'm already planning my apology. I'm thinking, okay, this goes wrong. What's my exit strategy? Because I always assume it's going wrong. Optimism for me is just hoping it doesn't go catastrophically bad. Mildly bad is a win. Everything starts moving faster than I expected, which is always how trouble begins. I thought this would be slow and gentle, helping someone carry a box. Instead, it turned into one of those moments where everyone suddenly has an opinion. All of them are directed at me, the guy who said, I got this, even though I very much did not. At this point, I'm still smiling. I don't know why I'm smiling. I think my face does that when it panics. People are talking, things are happening, and I'm nodding like I understand, even though I am fully lost. I'm hoping if I look confident long enough, reality will adjust itself to match that which has never worked, but I keep trying. And then you feel it, that shift, that moment when you realize this is no longer a good thing. This is now a problem. You can tell because people stop thanking you and start asking questions. That's when you know you've crossed from helpful into suspicious. They're like, why did you do that? And I'm thinking, because I wanted to be a good person for 5 seconds, and now I'm paying for it. Now I'm stuck. I can't leave because technically this is my fault. But I also don't know how to fix it because I don't know what I did. That's a terrible combination. That's like being blamed for a crime you didn't understand while it was happening. I'm just standing there thinking, I was trying to be nice. When did this become a group meeting? And that's when it hits me. This always happens. Every time I try to do a good thing, it backfires immediately, like there's some invisible scoreboard keeping track of how many times I should have stayed quiet. Somewhere out there, there's a version of me that just kept walking, and that guy is having a great day. I'm not him. The guy who stopped, helped, and now everyone's looking at like, why are you here? And I'm still in it. I'm still trying to fix it. I'm still nodding, still smiling, still pretending I had a plan, though all I really wanted was to do one small, nice thing and go home feeling proud. Instead, I'm standing in with middle of something that has gotten way bigger than it ever should have, and now I have no idea how to get out without making it worse. It always starts with a good intention, which sounds like a safe place to begin, but for me that's just the warning label nobody reads. Wake up trying to ruin things. I wake up thinking, today I'm going to be a decent human being. And somehow that thought alone is enough to put everything in danger. There's something about deciding to do one small nice thing that gives me a level of confidence I absolutely do not deserve. Like I've just been promoted to a job I didn't apply for. I see a situation that looks slightly inconvenient for someone else. Instead of letting it exist, I think, this is my moment. That's the hook right there. The moment you believe you are the solution to a problem you barely understand. What makes it worse is how pure the intention feels. There's no evil plan, no laziness, no shortcut. I'm not trying to get anything out of it. I just want to help, and that's what makes it dangerous, because now I'm emotionally invested in being a good person. I don't want to be seen as the guy who walked away. I want to be the guy people nod at like, that was nice of him, even though I have no idea how to actually deliver on that reputation. So I step forward, already imagining how smooth this is going to be, how quickly it will be solved, how I'll go back to my life feeling slightly better about myself for the next 5 minutes. And in that moment, before anything even goes wrong, everything already is wrong, because I've committed to something based on nothing but optimism and a very loose understanding of reality. I've attached my identity to an outcome I don't control. That's how you end up trapped later, smiling while chaos quietly builds around you, because you didn't just offer help. You promised competence. Now the story has started rolling in a direction you definitely did not plan. The moment I decide to step in, something strange happens to my posture, like confidence just sneaks into my body without asking permission. They're smart, and suddenly I'm standing a little straighter than I should for someone who has absolutely no idea what they's doing. It's not real confidence. It's more like borrowed confidence. They're smart. The kind you pick up because everyone else is watching and you don't want to look like the most confused person in the room. So I start moving and talking as if there's a plan in my head, even though the only thing in there is a vague hope that this will all work out. I say things like, yeah, no problem, which are dangerous words because they convince people I have experience. They also convince me for just long enough to get into trouble. That's where the false confidence really kicks in. I don't know what the next step is, but I take one anyway, and then another, stacking small, uncertain decisions on top of each other like a wobbly tower that somehow hasn't fallen yet. Every nod, every casual gesture, every calm sentence is part of the act. I'm performing competence, and the scarier part is that sometimes it almost feels real. People start responding to me like I'm in charge, which is the worst possible thing that could happen, because now I have an audience and expectations, and I still don't know what I'm doing. Inside, already negotiating with myself, thinking, okay, just keep this going a little longer. Maybe it will make sense. But instead of clarity, all I get is more attention, more questions, more reliance on me. I keep answering, not because I'm sure, because backing out would mean admitting that I walked into this situation wearing nothing but confidence and a smile. And that feels somehow worse than continuing to pretend, as the gap between how sure I look and how lost I am keeps getting wider and wider. Things always start moving faster than I expect, which is impressive because I already expect them to move too fast. 1 second it feels like I'm just involved in something small and manageable. The next second it's like someone hit a button and the whole situation jumped 3 levels ahead without asking me. That's when the panic quietly shows up, not loud or dramatic, just a soft realization that says, oh, this is bigger than you thought. And by the time you notice it, you're already in the middle of it. People are talking, decisions are being made, and somehow they're all happening around me, the person who barely understood the first step. What makes it even worse is how quickly everyone else seems to adapt. They're moving, reacting, contributing, just trying to keep up, nodding. I'm following like plot of a movie I walked into halfway through. The pace keeps increasing, and every new detail adds another layer of pressure. Because now it's not just one simple thing. It's 10 connected things, and they're all leaning on each other. I start feeling like if I make one wrong move, the whole thing might collapse, which would be bad because everyone would know exactly whose move it was. There's no pause button, no moment to step back and say, hold on, let's slow this down. The situation doesn't care that I'm overwhelmed. It just keeps going, pulling me along with it. That's how it becomes a problem instead of a favor. How something that was supposed to be helpful turns into something that feels like a responsibility I never agreed to. The momentum builds, and with it comes that quiet, growing fear that whatever happens next is going to happen whether I'm ready or not. The only thing I can do is try to stay upright while it all keeps accelerating around me. Once everyone starts looking at you, the room feels smaller, even if it's the same size it's always been, because now all the air in it seems to belong to other people's expectations. That's the moment when your heart speeds up for no logical reason, and suddenly you're aware of things you've never been aware of before, like where your hands are and whether you're standing like someone who knows what they're doing. I'm not afraid of people. I am afraid of being the person people are waiting on, because waiting is heavy. You can feel it pressing against you from every direction. What makes it uncomfortable isn't just the attention, it's the silence between the questions. Someone asks what we should do next. There's a pause where everyone expects an answer, and in that pause my mind goes completely blank, like it just left the building. I'm still smiling, still nodding, but inside I'm scrambling, hoping a good idea will show up before someone notices that I'm stalling. You start saying things slowly, buying time with words, stretching out simple thoughts so you don't have to commit to anything yet. And while all that's happening, you become painfully aware of how trapped you are. You can't leave because that would look like giving up. You can't admit you don't know because that would mean you never should have stepped in. So you're stuck in this narrow space between honesty and pride, trying to balance on it without falling into embarrassment. Every glance feels like a test, every question like a spotlight, and the more everyone relies on you, the more you realize how unqualified you are, which somehow only makes you try harder to look like you belong there, even as the pressure keeps quietly building around you. As the situation unfolds, I start noticing the tiny ways I've already messed things up, even though nobody has pointed them out yet. My mind begins its quiet critique, cataloging every small misstep and misjudgment like it's a full part-time job I didn't apply for, catch myself thinking, that wasn't quite right, or I should have said something differently, even when I said the exact words someone wanted to hear. The self-blame sneaks in slowly at first, like a whisper, but then it grows louder with each new complication. You realize that your good intentions are not just failing, they're actively creating small problems that, when combined, start to look like a disaster in progress. The funny part is that even as I blame myself, I can't stop trying. I keep nodding, keep talking, keep pretending like I know the path forward, because admitting confusion feels worse than letting things get more tangled. Every gesture, every sentence is layered with anxiety disguised as casual calm, which creates this odd tension that's both tragic and ridiculous. People are reacting to me as if I'm competent, and part of me wants to scream, I'm not. But another part just keeps performing, hoping that maybe someone else's confidence will somehow rub off on me. Audience, or the people involved, don't know I'm silently panicking, so they believe the story of competence I'm telling with my face and hands, which makes it even funnier when small cracks appear. The hooks here come from the constant internal dialogue, the running commentary of every mistake amplified in real time, which keeps the tension alive while making it relatable. Self-blame becomes a tool for humor, because everyone watching can recognize mix of good intentions and helplessness. I keep thinking, why do I always do this while doing it anyway? And that contradiction is what drives the energy forward, keeping people engaged and wondering how far the chain of small errors will go before something actually breaks. Once the situation starts spiraling, the hardest part is that it doesn't just resolve itself. Nothing clicks into place the way you hoped, and the longer it drags on, the more you realize that helping wasn't a neat little action. It was a commitment you never signed up for. You can feel the momentum carrying you forward like a train you accidentally stepped onto. Every new twist or small complication piles on top of the last one. You think maybe this will calm down, maybe it's almost over, and then the next thing happens, and it's louder, stranger, or somehow even more confusing than before. That unpredictability is what keeps everyone watching, because it's impossible to guess what will go wrong next, yet you can't look away. What makes it worse is that your role in all of this keeps expanding. What started as one simple act of kindness suddenly has layers you never imagined. And each one comes with its own expectation that you somehow understand it better than anyone else. People are looking at you for solutions, for decisions, for guidance, and you're still pretending that everything is under control while inside you're planning your escape route and hoping no one notices that you have no idea what you're doing. The tension builds naturally because every small movement you make can trigger a new problem. And the audience, whether imagined or real, is silently counting on you to get it right. There's the trap of continuing, because stopping would be admitting failure. So you keep going, making tiny, cautious decisions, trying to hold the pieces together, all while the situation slowly grows more complicated. Every attempt to fix one thing causes another ripple, and before you know it, you're juggling not just one problem, but several, each feeding off the other, each demanding attention, and each quietly mocking the optimism that got you here in the first place. It's exhausting, absurd, and strangely captivating, because nobody can predict what the next misstep or accidental success will look like. And they're smart, and you're stuck right in the middle of it, smiling and hoping it doesn't collapse completely. And so here I am, standing in the middle of a mess, I thought I could fix in 5 minutes, realizing that doing a good thing is basically signing up for chaos with a smile. I wanted to help, I really did. Apparently my definition of helpful doesn't match anyone else's. That's the thing about trying to be nice. It's not about the good intentions. Smart, it's about the fallout you didn't plan for, the questions you weren't ready to answer, the way everyone suddenly thinks you know what you're doing when you have no clue. So I keep nodding, keep smiling, keep pretending that I've got it all under control, and somewhere in the back of my head, realize that maybe the safest way to help is just not to. But then again tomorrow, I'll probably try again, because apparently I haven't learned anything.